The Unfinished Circle by Shadow Thread Stories. Read by Naya Nomiku. The last of the daylight hung low among the horizon, thinning out as she worked the key. The lock stuck the way it always did. She leaned her shoulder into the door until it gave. The street lamps outside buzzed on, throwing uneven light across the pavement. Inside, the familiar smells rose as the door shut behind her. Wax, herbs, old wood. They reached her, but her shoulders stayed tight. The bell above the door rattled once and went still. She waited a bit, listening for anything that didn't belong. Nothing shifted. She crossed the room and let her fingertips move along the shelves. The jars sat in their usual crooked rows. Leaves floated in cloudy liquid. Roots curled in on themselves. Bones lay stripped clean. Above the counter, dried bad wings hung from a rusted wire. A few jars held things that twitched when she wasn't looking. The glass flexed under the strain. The masks on the far wall stayed fixed in their line. May lit the candles along the counter. Each wick caught with a short hiss. The light reached the brass bowl of ash and stopped there, leaving most of the room in shadow. She brushed her hand over the beaded curtain. The bone beads clicked under her palm, worn smooth from years of passing through. She paused with her hand still on the strands. The space behind the curtain carried a pressure she knew well. Someone pacing close. Someone restless. It pressed at the edge of her thoughts. She shut her eyes. The shop hadn't been empty for days. Jack's spirit had settled into the corners long before Sadie reached out. "You're early," she said. A faint push brushed the back of her mind, close enough to answer her, holding back. She moved through the curtain. The seance room held its usual low warmth. The round table sat at the center, worn down by years of hands. 5 mismatched chairs circled it. Candles ringed the tabletop, their flames steady. May adjusted the chairs, straightened the candles, smoothed the cloth. She'd set the room up hours after Sadie Quinn's frantic call a few days earlier. Sadie's voice had carried strain, the kind that builds when someone holds too much for too long. Grief sat in it, something sharper too. May lit the last candle. The flame twitched from a draft slipping under the back door. She made a note to fix the seal. "He's close," she said. She opened the cabinet on the wall. Sage, salt, cards. She left them untouched. Tonight didn't need ritual. Tonight needed whatever Sadie had stirred loose. May returned to the table and rested her hands on the back of her chair. The room pressed in around her. She hadn't eaten. She hadn't slept. She'd watched people plead with the dead for years, but she didn't want another night like the last few. A memory hit. Someone's hand brushing a cheek. A muffled laugh in the dark. The stale bite of cigarettes on a jacket. Not hers. Jack's. He pushed the images at her fast, the way someone might shove photos across a table. Her eyes opened. The candles flickered once and steadied. "You remember," she said. The pressure in the room shifted. An answer without form. May looked toward the front of the shop. "They are coming. When they sit down, hold back until I tell you." A cold brush slid along her arm. She rubbed the spot. "You listen," she said. "If you want the truth, you listen." The pressure moved closer. May lowered herself into her chair. "Jack Quinn," she said. "Stay where you are." From the front of the shop, the bell rattled. Someone touched the door. May didn't turn. "It's time." A cold breath answered. Sadie Quinn stepped inside with her shoulders drawn tight under her jacket. The bell gave a thin rattle behind her. The room held more warmth than the street, but it didn't loosen her posture. The smell of dried herbs and old wood reached her. She kept her hands close to her sides. She brushed her fingers along the front counter, then pulled back. Her nerves had been raw for days. She'd woken more than once with the sense of someone standing beside her bed, close enough that she'd braced for breath on her cheek. She'd blamed exhaustion, then grief, then her own mind. None of it settled. The feeling clung to her skin. Tanner came in behind her, keeping a small distance. His eyes moved across the room, catching on the masks, then the bat wings above the counter. He didn't speak. His hands stayed in his pockets. A pulse throbbed behind his eyes again, same as all week. Iris slipped in next. Quiet steps, blank expression. She stopped a few feet from the beaded curtain and watched the bone stands shift in the draft. Her shoulders tightened. Jack's face flashed in her mind. the way he tilted his head when he listened too closely. She pushed the memory down. Brian entered last. He closed the door with a steady hand. His gaze moved across the room, pausing on the dark corner near the masks. Something in his posture tightened, then eased. He nodded to each of them. When he looked toward the beaded curtain, he dipped his head once. Whatever pressed at the edges of the room, he pushed it aside. The curtains shifted. May stepped through. Candlelight caught the lines around her eyes. "You're all here," she said. "Good. Come in." The seance room felt cramped with all of them inside. Candles circled the table. The mismatched chairs waited. Sadie took the seat closest to May. Tanner sat across from her. Iris sat beside Sadie. Brian settled between Tanner and May. May closed the curtain. The beads clicked once. She sat and placed her hands on the warm table. The candlelight softened her face. Her eyes stayed sharp. "Before we begin," May said, "you need to know something. Science is a conversation. It doesn't follow rules." Sadie nodded. Her voice stayed low. "I understand." May looked at the tight white of Sadie's knuckles. Sadie didn't understand. She only knew she needed to hear him. Tanner shifted in his chair. "What do we do?" "Sit," May said. "Listen. Speak when you need to. Keep your hands flat on the table. The circle stays connected." Brian leaned in slightly. "And if nothing happens?" "Then nothing happens," May said. "But you're here because something needs saying. We'll see where it comes from." Iris's grip tightened on her chair. "Can he hear us? If he's wherever he is?" "If he chooses to," May said. Sadie swallowed. "I just want to talk to him." May nodded once. "Then we start." She extended her hands. Sadie reached first, then Iris, then Tanner, then Brian. Their fingers linked, uneven and tense. One of the candles dipped low before steadying. The table felt smaller. "Jack Quinn," May said. "If you can hear us, we are calling for you. Sadie is calling for you." The air pressed in. No temperature shift, just weight. Sadie's palms dampened against the wood. May's ears popped. "Jack, please," Sadie whispered. A vibration moved through the table. Not a voice, a push rising through their joined hands. May kept her eyes shut. He's close. Tanner tried to pull his hand back. Brian tightened his grip to keep the circle intact. The vibration thickened. It shaped itself into sound. A voice broke through, low, strained. Why? Sadie jerked forward. Tanner's jaw loosened. Iris's shoulders drew in, her eyes fixed on the center of the table. May stayed still. Jack, we hear you. The voice came again, sharper. Why are you calling me? Sadie's voice cracked. Jack, I need you. The table snapped under their hands. Iris flinched. Her chair scraped the floor as her fingers tore free from Sadie and Tanner. The circle broke. Tanner's gaze shot toward Iris, who sat shaking, eyes down. Jack's voice cut through the room louder now that the barrier had opened. You brought them. Sadie's breath hitched. They're my friends. A beat. No, they aren't. The pressure hit Sadie first. Her breath stuttered. Tanner shifted in his seat. Jack pressed closer, crowding her thoughts. Another candle dipped. Sadie's pulse hammered. Tanner tried again, pushing his voice across the table. Jack, listen, we're here because Sadie. The table cracked under their remaining hands. Tanner stopped. Iris went rigid. Sadie's grip slipped before she caught herself. Jack's voice hit them again, low and raw. Don't speak for her. May didn't open her eyes. Jack, she called for you. Let her speak. Sadie leaned forward. Her breath shook. Jack, I miss you. I needed to hear you. Silence stretched. Then Jack's voice came again, softer, edged with something wounded. Sadie. She exhaled. I'm here. You shouldn't be, he said. Not like this. Tanner's shoulders tightened. Iris stared at the table. Brian leaned in, steady. Sadie's voice thinned. I didn't know how else to reach you. You didn't reach me, Jack said. You ran from me. Sadie shook her head. Jack, no. You ignored me. A candle dipped toward her. May's voice cut through. Jack, ask what you need to ask. Jack pressed closer. Why didn't you answer? Sadie's breath broke. Jack, why didn't you answer? Sadie forced the words out. I was overwhelmed. Jack's presence pulsed. With what? Sadie's throat tightened. Everything. Losing you, the funeral, the silence after. I didn't know how to breathe without you. The candles flickered. Jack's voice shook. I needed you. Sadie blinked hard. I know. Jack's voice thinned. You turned it off. You didn't want to hear me. Tanner stared at the floor. Iris kept her eyes on the table. Brian's jaw tightened. May felt grief rising. Heavy. Close. Sadie, she said. Tell him the truth. Sadie's breath came fast. I didn't want to hear anyone. Not you, not them, not myself. Everything felt too loud. I shut it all out. Jack's voice dropped. I thought you were leaving me. Sadie's sob cracked the quiet. I wasn't. I swear I wasn't. One of the candles thinned to a pin of light before flaring. Wax spilled down one side. Jack pressed closer. Then why did it feel like you were already gone? Sadie's hands trembled. Because I was scared. Because I didn't know how to love you and lose you at the same time. The room held still. Jack's presence pulled back, hurt more than anger. The air shifted. The flames steadied. The warmth left. A faint plume rose from Sadie's breath. Jack's presence thinned at the edges. Then Jack spoke again, quieter. Tanner. Tanner stiffened. Jack, look at me. I can't see you. You don't need to. You know what I am asking. Tanner's voice cracked. Jack, this isn't the time. A tremor ran through the table. Iris jerked back. Brian caught her hand, squeezing tightly to keep the circle intact. Jack's voice rose. Then when is? May opened her eyes. Jack, hold yourself together. The nearest candle spat sparks before settling. The cold deepened. Jack pressed in. What are you hiding? Tanner bowed his head. I'm sorry. For what? A candle hissed. Jack's voice shook. You touched her. Sadie's breath broke. Jack, please. The table lurched. The wood groaned. May cut through it. Enough. The movement stopped. Jack's voice came low. You betrayed me. Tanner didn't lift his head. I know. Sadie wiped her face on her sleeve without breaking her grip. Iris kept her eyes on the table. Brian's grip tightened. Jack pressed closer. You're all hiding something, and I'm not done. The candle nearest Iris shrank to a thin blue point. A tremor moved through the wood beneath their hands. Iris went rigid. Iris. Jack's voice came from the center of the table. Low, strained. Too close. Iris shut her eyes. I'm here. You feel me, Jack said. More than the others. Iris swallowed. Yes. The blue flame thinned further. Tanner pulled back against his chair, his jaw locked as he tried to draw Jack's focus. Brian leaned in, steady and watchful. Sadie tightened her fingers around Iris's hand. Jack pressed closer. "Why?" Iris's voice thinned. "Because I knew you. Because I..." The rest caught in her throat. Jack didn't wait. "You never told me." Iris opened her eyes. Tears cut through the dust on her cheeks. "I couldn't. You were with Sadie. You looked steady. I didn't want to make anything worse." The blue flame flared. Sadie didn't pull away, but her gaze snapped to Iris. "He didn't see what you saw." Iris choked on a sob. Unable to take the weight of it, she ripped her right hand out of Brian's grasp to cover her mouth. The circle broke. The cold surged instantly. The jars on the shelves rattled, crashing against one another in the dark. May drove her palm into the table, stopping short of the ceramic ash bowl. The sound snapped through the circle. "Hold it. Nobody moves." Iris folded over her hands, shoulders shaking. Tanner kept his eyes on the wood, Brian's fingers locked around the edge. Jack's voice came thin. "I hurt all of you." Sadie didn't look up. "You hurt yourself. We were standing close when it happened." Jack didn't push back. The candle flames leaned toward the center, pulled by something none of them could see. May leaned in. "Jack, you're slipping. Say the rest before you lose shape." Jack hesitated. The air cooled enough that their breath showed. The table creaked under the pressure of their hands. "The night before the accident," Jack said, voice thinning. "I didn't go straight to bed. I sat in the car for 2 hours with the engine running." Sadie's head lifted. "What?" "I went to the doctor 3 weeks before. The exhaustion wasn't work. It wasn't you. My hands shook so badly, I couldn't sign anything. He ran the scans twice. He said the nerve damage wouldn't stop. 6 months, and I'd need help walking. A year, and I'd need help swallowing." The cold deepened. Tanner's head stayed down. A sound escaped him, low and broken. Sadie shook her head. "Jack, the police report said there was oil on the curve." "I drove that road every day for 5 years," Jack said. "There wasn't any oil. I wanted to hear someone who didn't need anything from me, just for a moment, before I let go of the wheel." Sadie's breath left her in a sharp burst. Her posture folded, her chest pressed against the table edge. "You left me blind," she said. "I spent 6 months thinking I missed something. I thought you were done with me. I needed the truth." "I know," Jack said. "I was scared." May watched his outline thin again. "Stay with us," she said. "Tanner, talk to him." Tanner swallowed, his shoulders pulled inward. "Jack, I'm sorry, I didn't know about the doctor. She fell apart afterward and I didn't know what else to do. I should have done more." "You stayed," Jack said. No weight behind it, just the fact. "When I went into that ditch, you stayed with her." Tanner covered his face. His breath shook through his fingers. Jack shifted toward Sadie again. "Sadie," he said, "I'm sorry I left you alone with it." Sadie wiped her face with the heel of her hand. She held the table to steady herself. "You should have told me." The circle tightened. Tanner's eyes fixed on the frost forming along the rim of the ash bowl. May felt the change. The cold didn't spread. It tamed. "Jack," she said, "the child belongs to the living. You can't reach for it." Jack held still. "You're close," May said, "but you need one more truth." Jack hesitated. "What truth?" May looked at Sadie. "Tell him." Sadie's breath broke. "May, I can't." "You have to," May said, "or he won't cross." Jack's presence surged. "Sadie, tell me." Sadie closed her eyes. Her whole body shook. When she spoke, her voice barely carried. "I'm not just pregnant." Jack went still. "I'm far enough along that the timing doesn't match Tanner," she said. Tears ran down her face. "It's yours. 6 months. I was going to tell you the morning after the crash. I've been carrying it alone." Iris lowered her hands. Her expression changed fast. Understanding. Then the sting of being shut out. Tanner's chair scraped. Brian muttered something under his breath. The candle snapped sideways. Flames skimmed the wood. Jack's presence surged once, sharp and thin, then collapsed inward. The flames sputtered. All but one went dark. Sadie's fingers slipped from May's, then from Iris's. They trembled as they dropped into her lap. She stared at the faint scorch mark on the table. She waited for Jack to speak again. He didn't. He was gone. Tanner lowered his hands. His posture stayed tight. What do we do now?" May opened her eyes. You go home. Sit with it. That's all anyone can do tonight. Sadie didn't move. Everything feels cold, she whispered. May nodded once. It should. Sadie finally looked at Iris. No anger, no forgiveness, just exhaustion. I didn't know how to tell you, Sadie said. Iris's jaw tightened. I know. Sadie looked away first. Tanner shifted. If you want me gone, I'll go. Sadie didn't look at him. Not now. Tanner nodded, unsure what that meant. Brian pushed his chair back. The legs scraped. We should give her space. They stood. Iris moved toward the door without meeting anyone's eyes. Brian held the beads aside. Tanner waited near the curtain for a signal that didn't come. Sadie steadied herself on the chair before standing. The room felt different. Emptied. May stepped closer. You don't have to decide anything tonight. Sadie nodded once. I know. May didn't offer comfort. She squeezed Sadie's shoulder and let go. Sadie stepped through the beads. Tanner followed. Iris waited outside, arms wrapped around herself. Brian held the door. May stayed behind. She leaned over the table and pinched the last wick between her fingers. The smoke rose in a thin line and faded. She looked at the space where Jack had been. Go in peace, she said. The room stayed still. You've been listening to The Unfinished Circle, written by Shadow Thread Stories, kindly sent to me to narrate. Thank you for being here.